Hey everybody, welcome back to the Soul Locke between myself, LightsabreSMGN, and my good pal, Total Sunbro. We are hitting episode 74, and we are in the middle of a 3-episode long, we're probably going to hit 4 episodes long, easily.
Let's be real.
Conversation about what our ideal, capstone, this is Pokemon game is. And, forgive us if we keep jumping on each other because, I have this idea. I think it would be awesome. I think I have this idea. And as we're just talking through, so we've probably had a couple beats that we just dropped because the other person jumped in with another awesome idea.
Look,
but
I'm sorry.
For what? For
You're
being
good.
excited to be a gamer. What's worse? Cutting me off or being sorry about it?
The funny thing is there are folks that are like, oh, I don't like Pokemon, that's for kids. But I really think if they were to implement a system like what we've talked about even so far, despite what we're going to talk about moving forward, and I don't know where we're going with this, I think they would attract a larger audience, an even larger audience.
I do.
With a persistent world.
The only disagreement I have with that is the deeper into this that you got, the more it would be a barrier to entry.
Yeah. Well,
and here's what I mean by that. I'm only going to talk about this briefly because I have several things. I am so glad I swapped. I have several things that I want to talk about that we didn't get to last episode. But it will create a barrier to entry when we're on Gen 4 and the base game is $40 and Gen 2 is $40 and Gen 3 is $40. So you're looking at it from someone who didn't get in at the start and you're looking at $160 to get the full game.
Nintendo does not have a good reputation for discounting games over time, but they would need to adopt a more Destiny-like approach to content.
No, not Destiny-like.
When I say that, not sunsetting or anything crazy like that, but when I say that, your friend has been playing since the start, and they finally decided to get you into it. But we're in Gen 4, so typically this game would cost $60. Okay? For $80, you can get the current gen plus the past gens.
But that's not how Destiny works right now. Just throwing that out there.
It is when the new season. When the new season drops, when Witch Queen drops, there will be a deluxe edition of Witch Queen for like $80 that you get all of the content with. It is how that worked. Because I bought for Rathagen, my friend Rathagen, I bought him the deluxe version of Destiny 2 that had everything. Everything.
Interesting. I will take your word for it. Because when I'm thinking of Destiny style content, the first thing I'm thinking of is the content vault that they're doing, which I think is the correct move for them and a very bad move for this.
Yes, I would not want to see that. We are on the same page. I would not.
The other thing that I think is what I do think would be valuable is the third gen's not required to play the fourth.
That's a better solution.
You could hop in and you could buy base game. And maybe what it actually is you have to buy one gen. And you can buy the game and your starting gen be Gen 3. And then you could choose to go back later and buy Gen 1 and Gen 2. But I do think it would be very, very important and valuable to not require you to own Gen 2 and 3 in order to be able to purchase Gen 4.
Yes.
And to play Gen 4. And it's literally nothing changes. Hey, as you're crossing this border, we need you to prove your worth over here, which means you're using our Pokemon. You're not mixing in. You aren't potentially doing anything. That whole spiel. But it's just, you're coming from Gen 1 to Gen 4.
You're new. Yeah. Or even if you just took a break for a couple gens, you decide, I really don't like Gen 3, which you'd be insane, but regardless.
I was about to say, Gen 5, I feel like, at least amongst people my age has less rep. However, there are plenty of people who love Gen 5, and I don't blame them for it. It's a great game. It followed Platinum.
Yeah.
Which to me is just like, you've got an impossible reputation to live up to here.
Have you fought a Machamp yet?
One.
That's a rare spawn for that area.
So anyways,
oh, this
getting
is
back
a tough
to what I
combo.
would like to see happen what I would like to see happen as you progress. So you have Gen 1, and then you bought Gen 2. Once you clear Gen 2, the game registers you have 2 gens cleared. So both gens, the trainers get brought up to like level 80. In the first gen area, you can run into people who make mentions of Johto region. Like, I want to see Kanto react to the fact that Johto is a place.
Like, to acknowledge the existence of the other areas.
Yeah, very, very much like the second gen games did, because the second gen games had you beat the Elite Four. Hey, here's its train pass. Head on over to Kanto. You can fight those gym leaders too.
Yeah, actually, it did 100%. That was a really good addition. Okay. Also, within generations, similar to Pokemon Let's Go and Eevee, when you've caught the entire Pokedex for that area, there's an item that you get for completing that in that area that allows you to shiny hunt in that area. Or improves your odds.
Ooh, I can see the improve the odds. I don't think the original diplomas did that. That's what they added.
I don't know if you know, for Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu, that's how that works. Once you catch the entire Pokedex, you get a bracelet that improves your shiny odds. That's all it does.
Oh.
And it's a world buff. Like, you get it, you have it, and then it's a world buff.
Yeah, it's a key item that's just a perma buff.
Yes, but I'd like to see something like that in this make-believe. See, you're getting me hyped up for this game that Nintendo is never gonna make.
Never gonna make.
Because they don't have to. They don't have to. My biggest issue with Pokemon, especially now as an adult, is Nintendo can basically release Ruby with a different skin and a new name, and it will sell and make them billions of all the dollars. There's no incentive for Nintendo or Game Freak or the Pokemon Company to make this game.
I know.
It's so sad.
I know.
It could be the game that we're talking about right now is literally like 60, 70 years from now would be one of the greatest games of all time.
Yes, 100%.
Easy, like, not even close. It's not even close. Like people look back on like the origins of games when they're talking about like Pong and Tetris and Galaga, right? But when you would be looking back 100 years from now on where gaming is and the best games of all time, and the game that we're talking about would still be one of the best games of all time.
I bet people would still be getting it 100 years from now if the server was still up.
That's fair. Because there would be so much replayability.
Yeah.
There would be so much. So, like, okay. And then even...
all you would need is a New Game Plus option.
Yep.
And that would be a really good way for solo players who are like, well, my chances of getting the starters, kind of bad. But solo players, New Game Plus, you beat the Elite Four, you unlock this option. You can go do post-game content, or you can start over, stash these Pokemon in a box. And we come back to, hi, my name is Professor Oak. And then you get to pick Squirtle instead of your Charmander. And you run through. Like, that would not be hard.
I don't know that I'd want to see New Game Plus. I'd want to see that more of another character. Okay, wait. On that line, character customization. Your trainer, and not like Sun and Shield, or Sword and Shield, where it's like, oh, I can change my outfit, which is a lot of customization for previous games. Okay, I don't want to fault the Pokemon Company. It's a lot, there's so much customization for your character in Sword and Shield, but I mean your physical character, your face, your hair, your facial hair, because for whatever reason, you just became a Pokemon trainer at the age of 30. Like, I would want to see character customization, and then I don't know that I would want to see New Game Plus. More like, say Lightsaber, you had been playing this game, okay, and you have now gotten into, what was the region for Gen 3?
Hoenn.
Thank you. You've gotten into Hoenn. Like, you are smack in the middle of Hoenn content, and you're like, bro, you need to check out this game. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'll get around to it. And I finally pick it up, and you're in Hoenn, and you're like, oh, you finally got the game. I want to play with you. When you come back to play with me, everything we've said to this point, you can only use the Kanto Pokedex in that situation, but you're also level synced to me in the areas where we're playing together. Like, if we're ever in a duel battle, or, like, we're playing directly together, your Pokemon are brought to the level of my Pokemon. Or that area's level.
I don't like that.
Because, well, and the reason I say that is so that you can't come in after having played for 400 hours in that region, and now you have a full team of 100 Pokemon that are going to steamroll every encounter for me.
So, I don't know if I
don't want you to play the game for me. If you're participating in the game with me, that's one thing.
I don't know. Oh, that's actually a good move. I take that.
What did you learn?
Good
Ice Punch.
Have been few and far between recently. I like Sword Stance more, I think. I like Sword Stance more. I had Dragon's Dance and Sword Stance, so I had to decide which one I liked more for buffing damage. Personally, I don't... Maybe there is a check mark to level sync option. I don't know that I like that idea too much.
Maybe something similar to Final Fantasy, where you have your normal encounters, but you can also do it on level synced. But
maybe
what I would want to avoid is someone just having the experience ruined for them because they just wanted to play with their friend. And then it would ruin the experience of the friend, because if the friend didn't want to use their OP Pokemon, they would then have to sub in their, like, B-tier Pokemon.
Which, first of all, as someone who would have played it for 400 hours, I would take as a fun challenge. But second of all, in that situation, when I'm thinking New Game Plus, I'm thinking per region. So what is the problem with New Game Plus in a situation like that?
The issue with New Game Plus in a situation like that is that, let's say in Pallet Town, you start out at level 5. But typically, in a New Game Plus, you retain your progress from the previous playthrough. So you start out in Pallet Town with your 6 stacked Pokemon. Now let's say
we're thinking of two different types of New Game Plus. We're thinking two very different types. So
you're saying just being able to replay the story?
Yes, like straight up. You start back over all of your Pokemon. You can choose to exit New Game Plus and you have access to them. But while you're in the New Game Plus, while you're playing through, those are locked. You are using the brand new level 5 Squirtle that you just got because you started with Bulbasaur the first time through.
What
is that?
What it does make sense, but I think a better version of that would just be making a new character.
But
if your buddy
as a completionist, unless your two characters share a Pokedex, that doesn't help you. Someone who wants to solo complete the game.
Easy. Your Pokedex is account based.
Okay. It would either have to be
your
the
Pokedex is account based,
or the other option would be for all Pokemon to be catchable, period. All starters are catchable. Which I can see that. I can see that being a thing.
And maybe it's not even immediately like catching in the wild, but you were in Cerulean City and there's this band of Squirtles that's acting up. Like, they could bring so much of their original content into this game that we're talking about. Like in the original Pokemon show, Ash met Charmander because Charmander was on the side of the road about to die in the fucking rain. Pardon my language. About to die in the rain. Okay? And rushed into a Pokemon Center where Norris Joy was like, "What did you do to this Charmander?" And Ash was like, No, I didn't do anything. I found it like this. And some other trainer shows up and is like, "That's my Charmander. I didn't want him to be a wimp." Right? In this game, say that quest plays out and you have to battle that guy. And you have to kick his ass. And then he's like, whoa. Okay, I'm sorry. Right? And he buggers off. And you've earned this Charmander. And then there's some sort of mechanic. And they've already done this in previous games. Like the friendship mechanic. Or like the bond mechanic with your Pokemon. But that mechanic exists in this game. Where, Charmander liked that. Charmander has grown closer to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that mechanic has existed since Gen 1. It's like, there are two moves, one of which is total crap. It's useless in every sense of the word. And one is the exact opposite, called and return, respectively. This is a tangent that's going to run away from our Pokemon, but I'm going to do this rant. Because someone tell me, what, besides the thematic opposition to return, what is the purpose of...
What does return do?
Frustration. Return increases in strength the more the Pokemon likes you, up to a base power of 102. Becomes the most powerful, no side effect, normal move. It is by far the move of choice to put on your Staraptor, or your Flying Normal, or your regular Normal. Because the way that friendship in the Pokemon world works is as you run, you take steps with them in your party, they become more attached to you. As they fight with you and don't faint, they become more attached to you.
So I would want to see them evolve that system to become a proper system. So when I say proper RPG systems and quests, you have a Pokemon in your party, and obvious, like, this would be very difficult to code. Okay, please, no one watching this think that I am underestimating the difficulty of what I am suggesting. This is a perfect world. We wish this game existed.
Thing we suggested is such a nightmare to code.
This is a perfect world. They have the money to throw at it, to be fair. But regardless, regardless,
Mm-hmm.
you have a quest and you pick a Pokemon in your party to join you on that quest. Like, hey, C-Dot, come along with me. We're gonna do a thing, right? And you're doing this side quest, and for this side quest, it's just C-Dot that's joining you. Mm-hmm. The other Pokemon are staying back in the hotel or something, right?
Right.
But that's how you build that relationship with the Pokemon. And then there is a reflection of that in that mechanic in the game somehow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense at all?
No, it does. It really does.
Because you wouldn't want to code it to Pokemon specific, because like if it was a Charmander specific, and maybe occasionally there are Pokemon specific missions, right? Maybe there is a Charmeleon, a Charmander, a Charizard specific mission.
And it's something that you can't do until you get that Pokemon. But it's also not content that's going to lock you out of something amazing.
It's side content. It's 100% side content.
I would be completely down for something like that. But yeah, if you don't want to integrate a New Game Plus, if you want to just do level sync, which I do think has its weaknesses in Pokemon.
What do you think the weaknesses would be?
So let's say Charizard.
Let's say you retain at least some of the benefit of leveling that Pokemon and bringing it up, but it is brought down to let's say you have a max IV, perfect stat roll, level 100 Mewtwo, and your friend's starting out, and you're going through and you're playing with them, and you're in the level 10 area. Your Mewtwo would be brought down to the highest possible stats that a perfect stat Mewtwo could have at level 10. But it would still have the abilities.
So here's why that doesn't work in the current Pokemon system. I don't want them to change that Pokemon system, so I don't like this idea. Route 101 or 201, whatever it was in this game.
Yeah.
Vanilla, what you run into. Starly, Bidoof. Base stats of which, both of them are under 400 total. They're tiny. Because they're supposed to be. Because later they're going to evolve, and they'll get a little bit better. But they're also not supposed to be the banger Pokemon of the world. Your starter, the first evolution. Base stats, probably around 400, 450. It's going to get better, but it's got to evolve to get there. Mewtwo, base stats 750. Like, innately, a perfect Mewtwo at level 10 is going to yawn as it waltzes over anything else at level 15 from those areas because of the way that Pokemon is currently coded. So I could see the level sync working better if maybe there was, because what you can't do, like, I don't think this is possible to code.
Okay.
I do not think it's possible to code we reduce the base stats of your Pokemon down to 500 to match this area. I don't think that's possible. I could be proven wrong.
Final Fantasy does it.
On a completely different system.
But, okay, it is apples and oranges, but I'm just saying, like, if you're level 80 with perfect full raid ready Alexander Savage or Eden 12 Savage gear, and you go back into normal Ifrit, it brings your level down to that level.
It does, and the way that it does it, first of all, Final Fantasy has is currently coded to strip you of your job if it's below job tier, which I don't think it's realistic for them to go, you're bringing a Charizard in, all of a sudden it's a Charmander for right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Past that, does it just become every Pokemon that you bring is base stat 60 across the board? Like 60 HP, 60 attacks, because 60 is the cap there? Does it scale it relative to each other. So a Pokemon that's a strong special attacker is still a strong special attacker, and just everything else is weaker than 60. I don't see how that works.
They would have to do it in tiers. So you would have to have low, medium, and high. Because a Weedle is not going to have the same... Okay, a Beedrill is not going to have the same stats as a Charizard.
Right, but
on even level.
But then it becomes a thing. Like,
or
that
you
still
just
doesn't
eliminate lower level Pokemon because people just want... But guys... And
we didn't even talk about any of the crap that I wanted to talk about.
I hate to do this. But we are going to put a wrap on episode 74. We're going to come in on episode 75, and I am going to shut up because I want to hear the rest of Lightsaber's points. And I keep bringing up tangent. Granted, obviously...
Good tangents. We're not just, like...
We're trying to work through this for the Nintendo company. You know, if you're at the Nintendo company and you're watching this, take notes.
First of all, how did you find us?
Steal the idea. It's yours.
Please.
Steal it. Shamelessly steal the ideas of what you've heard here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on episode 74. If you did like this episode, if you do like the discussion, let us know in the comments below. If you don't want to comment, that's perfectly fine. Please make sure to hit that like button and hit subscribe. And if you don't want to miss when we post another Pokemon video or when we go live, because we stream through the week here on YouTube, please make sure to hit that sub button. And if you don't want to miss notifications, hit the bell too. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care now.